There's only so many hours in the day to try to chase these kids around and make an impact, on helping, helping us get the decisions made or swayed in our direction. But it was a good week, and I feel good about how we finished.
Fans of the program, how do you think they will react to the team that you're able to put together? What is your hope for that?
Well, I think recruiting's a funny thing. They have all these star systems where you say a young man's rated as a 5-star or a 2-star or a 3-star. And the ironic thing about that for me is my best players over the years were usually 2-star kids that have had the best careers in the NFL and played the best football for me for whatever reason. So I think initially you always want to have excitement, and I think people are always going to be excited about the kids you got or disappointed with the ones you lost. But really, it's going to be what happens the next 3 and 4 years with these young men and how they developed within the framework of what SU football truly is. That'll really be the determining factor as to whether we were successful or not.
Tell me about your first football memory.
Some of my first memories would be as a little kid going to the games with my mom, driving, to a game and looking for the lights in the sky to see where the stadium was in some town in northeastern Ohio, and then getting there and the smells I always think about, smelling the popcorn walking in, hearing the band off in the distance, seeing my dad run out with his kids behind him and the crowd standing up and roaring, albeit they were small crowds, but at the time they seemed like they were huge crowds because I was so young.
Shafer lost his professional and personal hero almost 20 years ago. His father, Ron, a football coach, had already survived one heart attack when a second one took his life.
As you advance in age, do you think about your own health? Do you think about your heart health? Is that
Sure.
something that you're tapped into?
No doubt about it. My father passed away at 53. I'm 46, so I think in the back of my mind, I'm always like, what am I going to be at 53 years old from a health, point of view? But you try not to focus on it too much, but I think that's a natural thing that happens for anybody that's lost a parent. And then for all the obvious reasons, it's easy to compare one's life to his father's if you're in the same profession. So yeah, that's on my mind. I don't worry about it as much as I used to. I think I've gotten over some of those things, but only the good die young, and I believe that with my dad and other people that have touched my life that have gone to a better place.
My father, and we'll talk about this later when I have more composure, since I was 10 years old, because I was influenced by my dad.
Family was a strong message in Coach Shafer's initial rollout just days after he agreed to take the head coaching position. He started putting his thoughts together for this critical appearance before cameras and the community at 3:30 that morning. He just couldn't sleep.
The people that live here and embrace it are tough people. They're hard-nosed people that work their ass off, and they expect a hard-nosed football team.
The most memorable phrase he repeated several times, and people seemed to love it. That choice of words, hard-nosed, as a way of describing all things Central New York.
I love Central New York, and I love Syracuse.
What's the definition of hard-nosed? What does distill that to its essence? What is hard-nosed?
People that get up in the morning and have to shovel the snow during a certain part of the year, wipe their cars off, put their boots on, slush their way to work, and see the beauty around them and work hard at what they do. People say a blue-collar type attitude. Well, that's the way I see Syracuse, no different than where I grew up outside of Cleveland, Ohio. People that truly earn a living day to day and don't complain about, the weather, the situations they're in, but just go to work.
Take me through the entire next season, your first year as head coach. What's a good headline? What's something you'd be happy with?
Well, I think they played as hard as they could for as long as they could, and they didn't worry about the results.
That's what you'll tell them?
That's what I tell them. And, a lot of guys I've worked with, Coach Harbaugh, talked that way when we were at Stanford, and it was true. And we came up under Coach's kids, and you control the things you can control in your life, and you don't worry about the other things on the outside. And that's why we always talk about it. Your attitude and your effort you can control on every day of your life. And don't worry about the things that are outside of those elements.